Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're taking a look at a white Karn the Great Creator prison style deck. This deck was suggested to me, let me put it this way. On Twitch, I reopened the option to play viewer decks for my subscribers on Twitch, and people could also gift subs to the channel to move their deck up the list to the top of the queue. And DMF Dude, whose name is seen over here, submitted this deck and gifted 5 subs to the community to move this to the top of the list. And I'm very glad that he did, because this deck was quite a blast to play. The idea just being to use cards like Fountain of Renewal to gain some life against the red decks and set up shop, then use cards like Ixalan's Binding and Settle the Wreckage and Cleansing Nova to keep the board clear, and use Karn the Great Creator with the sideboard to set up all kinds of different ways to make the opponents miserable. The sideboard features a lot of options. We can exile their graveyard, we can get multiple amulets of safekeeping, which makes us hard to target and makes their creature tokens useless. The Sorcerer's Spyglasses can shut down Planeswalker decks one by one. There's an Arcane Encyclopedia that I added because I wanted a way to draw cards, and we already have 4 treasure maps in the main deck, so we can't tutor for them with Karn. Then we have a Chaos Wand, which is great against decks heavy with spells and not great against decks without spells. You can watch the stream if you want that inside joke. Crucible of Worlds can set up a loop with Field of Ruin if the opponent, or with Blast Zone in the late game if the opponent can't deal with some amount of these. Then we also have Transmogrifying Wand, just turn some big things into oxes. Helm of the Host sets up a loop with Meteor Golem where we just slowly blow up all their lands. God-Pharaoh Statue makes their stuff prohibitively expensive, and the Immortal Sun shuts down all Planeswalkers, but it's an emergency only option as it also shuts down Karn the Great Creator and Scion of Urza and Ugin, which are very important cards in our deck, so be careful with that one. And then there was Smothering Tithe in the deck, but I cut it for Orazca Relic because I was feeling a gaping hole in the 3-drop slot and having trouble hitting my lands. So I thought that Orazca Relic teams up very well with Treasure Map, as you can play this on 2, play this on 3, and still use the map, and then play a Cleansing Nova on 4, for example. Very nice. And it's another artifact that teams up with the rest of the squad. The Smothering Tithe, it had its moment, but for the most part, I didn't feel like 2 of those fit the deck, especially with so many 4-drops already. All right, I had a good time playing this deck yesterday, and I'm excited to see how it does for you here on YouTube today. Let's go play some games. Now that I've hit the Mythic, I'm not as concerned about what happens to me in Mythic, so I'm going to play some pretty wacky decks. We have Fountain of Renewal into Dawn of Hope. I'm pretty sure that's a snap keep for most people. I honestly don't think this combo is as exciting as other people do, but here I am. This is what I'm playing. This is what we do now. This is my life. I'll also point out that while I like Blast Zone a lot, it's really tough in a deck full of enchantments and artifacts because you often end up blowing up your own things. Opponent with a turn 2 Wildgrowth Walker. I suppose that's decent for us as long as we find a way to sweep the board. Wildgrowth Walker isn't particularly terrifying. Not until Jadelight Ranger comes down and other nonsense, and it looks like it's going to be Teferi, which is extremely good against our Dawn of Hopes and Settle the Wreckages and such. Spyglassing it won't be enough, and this card has warped the format in such a way it's absolutely terrifying to deal with, terrifying to play against. The tempo setback is so huge. But we also have a Field of Ruin right now, which we can start blowing up our opponent's land with. And I don't know if they have basics in the deck. We can certainly find out. It's a 4-color deck, and I've seen it around. So I think it's worth a shot just to find out what they've got. Let's go after their black source. If this is the Dreadhorde deck, the black mana is pretty important. And let's check you. Do you have any basics in there? None. Oh, well, I know what I'm getting with Karn the Great Creator. It's Crucible of Worlds. Well, fortunately the opponent has no problem hitting their land drops. Fortunately for them, I suppose. But let's check them. Crucible of Worlds. They've got like 2 turns to really get ahead on board, make me deal with it. They've had no problem hitting lands. Good for them, right? Good for them. It's a good thing, too, or they'd be in a lot of trouble. This is up to 3 now, so it can bounce something. Let's play you. Get you back. Play you. Minus you. Let's go get a Spyglass and turn this off so it can't bounce the Crucible. And there's 2 Jadelight Rangers and only 1 green source. Command the Dreadhorde and Massacre Girl. Alright. Teferi. Time Raveler. No bouncing my stuff. Let's see if the opponent hits. And they scoop. They do not want to play against Crucible of Worlds, Field of Ruin. And that's what you get for your 4-color, no basic Planeswalk deck. Well, we have the map into Relic hand as well as a Settle the Wreckage. We are pretty slow, and we're on the draw, so we could be run over very quickly, but I think it's worth a try. We're against a Planeswalker deck, we can't really interact with it at all, and that could be painful. I was going to say our hand is particularly bad against Thought Erasure because really only the map is relevant, but then we top-decked another map. Let's see if this one resolves. Alright, no Dovin's Veto for me that time. 3 mana does Narset. 3 mana does Teferi. Same old song. Just a drop of water in an endless sea. So fun. Alright. Relic up or map up? I guess map getting ready to flip is probably higher priority. Improving our draws and getting us closer to what we need. Oh, Settle the Wreckage. You were pointless before, you're extra pointless now. Kismina. Yeah, this is going to be a case where we need an Immortal Sun. Do I take land? I suppose it's better than nothing, but at the same time what I really need is a Karn, so yeah, let's keep looking. Let's keep digging. Did it? Let's see, 1, 2. I wanted to keep this flipping. So if I flip this next turn, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not quite enough, whereas if I play this, yeah, I still can't cast the Immortal Sun like any frickin' time soon, and we really want to be careful about when we fetch the Immortal Sun. Also, exposing this to being attacked is very bad. Our opponent's next play is probably a Teferi. We could test them and see if they ran any basics, but I suspect this deck usually has a basic or two. Let's play the Relic and keep working on our mana. And then once we have plenty of mana, hopefully we can drop the Karn. I passed the turn. Why is it still doing this? Yeah, next. I'm passing. I'm trying to pass. Our opponent already discarded a Kaya's Wrath. Maybe Finale of Glory will be better than we think it can be to hold off the opponent's creatures. I don't know.
Don't worry, I got this.
My students are loyal and brilliant.
Alright, discarded Teferi. Doesn't seem very good for me. If they have Teferi right here, they could have the Elder Spell next turn and the game's just over. But we could also go get a Spyglass. Opponent says oops. They play a Narset, okay. Then you go get a Dovin, sure. Alright, let's scry it up. Land on top is fine, I think. Just want to hit that. Land drop. Oh, I'm getting thought erasured. That's rude. That means they take my Karn. But if I had played it last turn and fetched, they would have just taken the... They would have just taken the sun. So, not out too much. See, we have Nova that can blow these two up. We can set a Blast Zone to 3 and blow these two up. We can also play the Finale Glory for a good number. I think I just like Nova here. Just get the pressure lowered. And we can pass and see what our opponent does. They might try to bounce our Erazka Relic with the Teferi, but they'd have to suicide it to do that. Second Dovin, whatever. Narset, here we go.
I know 88 ways to defeat you. Meditate.
Narset's got 88 problems. Immortal Sun ain't one. Yet. Oh yay, Teferi, we did it. We're so great at magic. Alright. It's Dovin, everybody. Dovin is here.
Anyone would be so foolish as to
Uh-huh.
try this.
Compass, no. No, thank you, Compass. Now we have to watch out. I get frickin' lit up by Narset all the time. Could play this for 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not particularly impressive. Oh yeah, Dovin, of course, cuts into that. We could work on clicking up the Blast Zone so that Teferi can't beat me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't quite do 5. You cost 3 because this is artifacts as well. Yep. Alright, well, if I can't do it all this turn, I may as well do this.
Hone your prowess.
Did you find your Elder Spell? Nope, just another Thought Erasure. Here's Teferi. Yippee-ki-yay.
Longer. Stand by and watch.
What's your target? Oh, just a plus. Gonna Thought Erase me. Sure thing, bro. So we actually don't want to draw anything of particular goodness because of the Thought Erasure about to come in. The opponent hasn't found Elder Spell yet, that's the bright side. And I am Mr. Brightside. Alright, let's charge this up, put a counter on it. And let's scry. We're just looking for a piece of garbage. That'll do. Land is fine. We don't want anything good that's going to get Thought Erased. Scared of the finale, my friend? They keep on top. Must be sexy. You think it's an Ugin? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we just need a Karn off the top and we can Immortal Sun this thing. But if the opponent Elder Spells us first, that's a big problem. And remember, we can't draw multiple cards because of Narset, so there's no point in activating the Treasure Cove or the Erazka Relic to try to draw that Karn on our turn. So, we're just playing a waiting game. Another Mentor. Sure.
I see great potential in you.
Uh-huh.
Join my cause.
Drop and cast down. Teferi, what you got? Targets my map. Shocking developments. 1, 2, 3. All right. And we'll map it up. Revitalize. Doesn't really do anything. And back to my hand with you. The annoying thing about these games, of course, is that it feels like the opponent gets to play 90% of the magic. I'm just waiting to hope to play the last couple seconds of magic, is all I can do.
So
And do you find an Elder Spell?
The trick for this.
Oath of Kaya, whatever. Okay, we have the ability to draw a card here. First, 1, 2, 3. We can charge this up to 5 so that we can take out the Teferi, and I think that's priority. Revitalize off the top isn't any good. We'll put the map back down. Keep working our map. I'm not in a rush to blow up the Teferi. This is insurance against the Elder Spell combo. So if the opponent goes for their Elder Spell, blowing up their own Planeswalkers and ultimating Teferi, we can use Blast Zone in response. Otherwise, we're going to save it till the moment right before the Teferi would ultimate.
Focus on what matters.
Like Kasmina says, focus on what matters.
I've got it.
Ugin. Sure.
I know more than you could learn in 1,000 lifetimes. The fabric of the multiverse obeys me.
Uh-huh.
No time for a break.
Still going. Nothing outlasts Teferi, the Energizer Bunny. Damage is damage. I think this turn is use a map and revitalize. Let's give it a shot. What we got? Another land? No, thank you. Now we're just looking for Karns. Oh yeah, I can't revitalize. I always have to remember that kind of thing. Let's see what the opponent does with this. I always get hit by a static at some point playing this game, but let's see if the opponent runs basics, shall we? It'll tell us whether or not the Crucible of Worlds is a good play for later in the game. Okay, there's a swamp. We could sack this to draw a card. I might need the mana, though. And I'm not that desperate quite yet. I'm working. We're getting there. Do believe me. Man, playing this on my turn, though, does nothing. So I guess we can Nova these creatures before the opponent takes the Nova away. But then we don't have Blast Zone open. I think I can just take another bump from the creatures. I don't think I'm in, like, terrifyingly dire straits yet. Because what we need to do is Blast Zone this Teferi before it can ultimate. Here's Ugin's Dorks.
Secrets manifest before you.
Here's damage. So on end step, we want to Blast Zone away the Teferi. Here's a card from this Teferi. Go ahead. Don't mind the opponent drawing, but I don't want to let them get their Teferi down this turn. Make them play it again next turn if we're going to let them play it. Time is valuable, and that's pretty much what we want. More turns to draw the right cards. Opponent's just stumped. They're like, what do I do with myself? Oath of Kaya's? Try to win the game with burn, perhaps? Like, most of my opponents have conceded by now. Alright. You just offed your Teferi to get a card. Let's see what card it is. Or maybe we won't learn this turn, but we'll find out. Liliana, sure. All the same crap. 23 cards left. Just seeing about decking them. I mean, they've been through their whole deck now with 3 Narsets. Ugin. Kasmina. We're still just... Here comes the Elder Spell. Oh, are we ultimating the Liliana? It does look like we're ultimating the Liliana. I don't think then I can do anything about that.
Regardless, I have learned much.
Yep, that'll do. Alrighty. Hand has some land, a Revitalize to bridge the gap, a Finale that has been it's terrible. It's freaking terrible in the opener. But you need to have some way to like go over the top of certain decks that create great board presences, even when you have your prison lock. But I feel like this could definitely be something else. I've been pretty much sick to my stomach every time I've drawn it. Wayfinder. Hello, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land. Put it on top of your library. Put the rest on the bottom. What are we up to? Are we doing Boar God shenanigans? Are we assembling combos? Vinemare. Okay. Fortunately, I run a lot of ways to wrath the board. Uh-huh. Just bring it on. It's okay. Click, click, boom. Let's go. You thinking about pumping? Oh. Oh, I see. We're tryhard in here. That's ballsy when you also have a Vinemare in hand. It's like, what if I had a Seal Away? Oh well. Gutsy opponents. Let's just make a dork. It's not like we're going to do this for an epic amount, or that we should need it to win a game against a red-green creature deck. Just a Grey Ogre, 3 mana for a 2/2. Let's make you have another trick. Nope. Just a trade. Opponent's missing the land for their Vinemare, but they find one with a Merfolk Branchwalker. And are we missing a land? No, we hit one. So I love playing the Karn. I think that binding on the Branchwalker is just kind of a fail, but I love playing the Karn to get more land so that Cleansing Nova can come online. You see the hesitation. There's another pump spell or a burn spell. The stick, as I call it. When a spell sticks on the stack, you know there's shenanigans afoot. And if you have a decent knowledge of the format and the decks that you're playing against, you can make a guess about what it is the opponent has. Opponent gives us a land, which little do they know is exactly what we want. Karn draws lands. That is what the Scion of Urza's job is. So, Branchwalker thinking about getting busy. And do we see that glorious pump spell? Yep, endless pumps. Down goes Karn. Ow! Alright, well, we could run another Karn out. Honestly, I like the idea of just setting a Blast Zone a bit higher so that we can use it to kill some future creatures if we need to, and then Nova-ing the Vinemare and the Branchwalker. At the same time, does this Karn get a lot better? I do feel like if I save it, though, I can protect him better, so that's the plan. We'll just let the opponent do what they want to do. There's still stick going on. Could be a Lightning Strike, could be a 3rd Collision Colossus. That's okay. I got statues to topple while I wait. Kill it. Yeah, bring it down. Bring it all down. All right. So we've already seen that there's Wayfinder. We've already seen that there's a Branchwalker. So let's move one of these up to 2 in case the opponent can reload with a pair of 2-drops after a Nova. I don't see a reason to put it on 3 because our opponent hasn't played like a 3-drop style critter. And let's blow it up. Take our 2-for-1. Since we have another Nova, I don't feel like that's too risky. And we'll see if the opponent has more creatures to follow up with now. Another Vinemare, sure. Anything else? No? Another Blast Zone. So we could be setting Blast Zone to 4. We could also be playing Ugin and making a 2/2 to jump in front of the Vinemare. If the opponent has another like Collision Colossus, they can take out the Ugin though, and Ugin's pretty much a sure way to win if I'm patient. Let's put out the Shield Mage. Shield Mage can crank out some O3s. And yeah, we can just tick up this Blast Zone again if we want. We could also play the other Karn now that he's defended. I like that. Bring out Karn plus Karn. Make the opponent give me cards. Fountain of Renewal, not the shiniest thing in the deck right now. Still kind of waiting for the oomph of our opponent's deck. They're a Collision Colossus Vinemare deck, but there's got to be some other powerful enchantments or instants that to justify running a card like Vinemare here. Maybe they are a Dreadhorde Arcanist deck with even more pump spells. It does seem like some form of a creature combo. We'll definitely throw the wall under the bus. If the opponent is going to Collision Colossus to get over this creature and gain trample, so be it. They've had 2 of them already. They have another. Awesome. But that's why we didn't deploy Ugin. We're trying to run them out of all this nonsense that their hand continues to be. All right. Down to a 5-3. We're at 15. We could just charge up a Blast Zone rather than risking the Ugin here. Might be playing cautious, but I feel like I've got nothing but time. We could also Nova this, but then if the opponent has another hexproof thing, we didn't really gain much or do much with our turn. So, alright, opponent. How hard can you hit me? You get 1 turn. You get 1 shot. Make it count. One, 2, 3. So I can pump one of my 1-cost Blast Zones up to 4. Here's another Wayfinder. Let's see what you find. And now there are 2 creatures, which makes Nova a lot better. That's a whiff. Wow. With the rest on the bottom. At least they're on the bottom now for our opponent. That's really weird. That tells us there's so many pump spells in their deck. There, we've got 1 set to 4, 1 set to 2. We draw Karn the Great Creator. I feel like Nova's fine here, though. I guess we're not doing much afterwards. And we've got these set up for other hexproof things, but what if it's a Carnage Tyrant? That would be a pretty worst case scenario. What can Karn go get for 4? Not much right now. Yeah, I think I like using my Blast Zones. I can use them both. Just wipe out my opponent's creatures. Then have 6 mana, play Ugin. Seems good. So let's go 1, 2, 3, blow this Blast Zone. Away goes the Vinemare. I'll go ahead and take 2 from the Wayfinder, and we'll see if our opponent plays another 2-drop creature. They probably won't, but at least they're not able to cast it this turn. Oh my. Okay. Well, that influences me too. Now I'm much more likely to Nova. Oh, I should have put another counter on this Blast Zone, as having it on 1 probably isn't any good. Alright. Destroy. Very cautious this game, but unapologetically so. How you sequence stuff against all these hexproof things can really come back to bite you. There's another Wayfinder. Just digging. Digging and digging. And putting a Nullhide Ferox on top. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but Nullhide has a hard time getting around Ugin and his little army. We also... Is there a way I can just make my opponent shuffle their deck? Not really. Alright. I think it's Ugin time. Don't think the opponent's... They're down to 1 card, and we know what they're drawing off the top. Alright, let's go get something. Let's go get the right toy. The opponent's gonna scoop it up. I was thinking about Meteor Golem just because you get a body and you get to blow up something of theirs. But yeah, from there it all starts to spiral. 2 treasure maps on the play. We'll give it a try. It's very risky. If we miss land from here, we're in a lot of trouble. Blue mana to open. Opt is ready. Is Spell Pierce ready? Nay. Nay, it is not. Alright, Augur. Alright, this might be like a fair blue-black control deck. We can probably give that fits if we hit our land. Enter the God Eternals, probably not of a big concern. To the bottom, we need land. Draw. Whiff. Ouch. Alright, Fountain of Renewal it is. We're in trouble. Does our opponent have land? They're finding Thought Erasure, that's really good, but... Ooh, land? They must have it, or it wouldn't stop there. No, it went to discard. Alright, well, we're both having issues. At least it's a fair fight in that sense. Resolve, life, draw. We found our planes. So, we're about to get Thought Erasured. That's bad. Let's send out another map. Opponent finds their land. Oh, they go straight to Narset. Interesting. They keep the Thought Erasure in hand. This is going to let us resolve the Great Creator. So I can take the land draw, or I can flip the map afterwards. I guess if I draw it, I may not flip the map, but I'm going to flip the map anyway. I'm 99.9% sure. So I may as well try to make sure I draw land, and I do. Okay. We could also smash Ugin here. That's pretty great. And the opponent's struggling with mana, so they don't have mana for an Elder spell. They need another Swamp for Vraska's Contempt. Feel like that could be pretty amazing. And if they're spending their turn Thought Erasing me, I'm getting further ahead. Let's go. Let's go. We don't want to take Ugin down to 1 because the Augurs will smash it. Let's mark that upkeep stop, as I'm sure I want to keep scrying. It also means Karn is cheaper next turn. Okay, if I get Thought Erasured here, that's really bad. Ah, okay. That's not great either. Alright. Solve that, gain a life. The opponent drew the land they needed. I don't think I upkeep scry here, because if I draw another land... Alright. I was looking at some things I can do with Karn. But let's drop the Great Creator on him. What do we want? Seems like the statue's really good. Whatever we get is going to get Thought Erased, so I probably want to get something I can play. And the only thing I can really play here is the totem. Yeah, whatever we fetch is going to get taken. So I want to fetch something that... Let's see here. What are they going to win with, do you think? I want to fetch something that's an appealing target, but leaves like the best to come. So not the God Pharaoh statue. Chaos Wand would be pretty appealing, and it is a bit of a trap. So let's grab it. We'll save the treasure map scry, and hopefully next turn, if our opponent just double Thought Erasures us, we can minus Karn and go get the God Pharaoh statue and slam it. Alright, Karn to 2. Please stop. We really badly want to land on top of our deck after all is said and done here. Resolving a God Pharaoh statue on a mana-starved opponent with a handful of spells would be a big advantage for the game. There goes the Chaos Wand. Here's land number 3. Do they play counter spells, do you think? They're holding up mana. I mean... Oh, I'd want that too. I really do. But it's not going to do what I need it to do. Oh, we could put off that plan because of the counterspell. Yeah, and just go for another one of these after fetching something. Alright. I mean, if it's going to get countered anyway... Let's go get something. There's another Thought Erasure, so we're basically going to run this into a counter if they have it. If not, that's what would have happened anyway. We could get the statue so that our opponent has to do that next turn. Well, I'll grab the Immortal Sun because that's something that the opponent also needs to take from me. It shuts down my own stuff, but then I'm drawing 2 cards a turn. No, Narset stops that, so they wouldn't even have to take it. I think I will take the statue, and then the opponent has to have a counter this turn and a Thought Erasure next turn to stop it. But then I have nothing really great to fetch anymore. It's pretty tough. I guess I can take a Spyglass. Spyglass is pretty good. We can at least turn off Narsets for the rest of the game. We know the opponent has another one. Let's try resolving this, see what happens. Oh, that worked. Okay, well now I'm not attacking this Narset. Let's fetch another one. Again, we don't want to get the Godpharaoh statue now. Let's get an Arcane Encyclopedia as well. Just infinite cards. It's kind of a weak little thing. And there's a Narset on the field, which is annoying. But maybe the opponent will take it out of fear. And on the end step is Tyrant Scorn. That's what the opponent was holding up. I get the Fountain. The opponent can attack this down to 1, so I can no longer get the statue. That's obnoxious. Please stop. Thought Erasing. It's been an interesting sub-game that we're playing. Takes away the Spyglass. Okay. Takes away... what? What are you afraid of? Takes the Encyclopedia. Okay. See, it was pretty much bait the whole time, and then they keep on top. Not good enough for me. Let's see what we draw. Binding. Binding on Narset's pretty good. How do we keep our Karn alive, though? I guess we can turn our treasure map into a creature and flip it in response to a removal spell. That's pretty wild. Let's see, if we flip this now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could Binding and nothing. We could make a 3/3 Erazka Relic. But the opponent probably just kills it. We can Nova the board. That gives the opponent another turn to play another Narset. I know, every turn's pretty tough, so thank you for bearing with me. Let's go with turn on map. Ixalan's Binding Narset. And pass turn, because we need to be able to flip our map at instant speed if the opponent is able to remove it. Or try to remove it. Yep. Let's scry in response. This is actually a pretty good card for both setting up blockers for those critters, as well as giving myself hexproof from like the Thought Erasures. So I'll keeps. Aw, still dies? I guess flipping it didn't save it. That's obnoxious, because it stayed a creature because of the Karn. I don't know how cards work. First time I've faced that situation in my life. All right, my turn. Not every fight can end in victory. Sometimes I just make dumb plays. But here you go. Opponent knows this is coming. And I'm going to hold the rest of these cards. It's amazing. We've had, like, look at the stretch of without a land. It's pretty amazing. Oh, the opponent's scooping it up. Do you think they drew another Narset? I don't feel like I earned that victory at all. Punt Areno. All right, I'm going to put a wrap on that video there and call it a day. I can't believe how many mistakes I make in War of the Spark Standard. Something about the Planeswalkers with their static abilities, I'm terrible at them, to be honest. So you guys in comments have been absolutely merciless, pointing out all the things I do wrong. I know that's part of the fun, perhaps, for some of you, and you're welcome to keep doing it. I'm not telling you not to, but I also fully own it. It's not my strong suit, this current standard format. Something about the Planeswalker statics, I can't get used to it. My brain just doesn't work that way, and I know I'm like tanking every single turn and still messing up. Pretty frustrating, but still pretty fun. That doesn't keep Magic from being a joy for me, so I'm having a good time with it, and I have no regrets. Speaking of having fun, you can get a few ways to support the channel through your shopping habits. There's Father's Day coming up, and you dads out there, every year, the ones who love you, your kids, your wife, they ask you, what can I get you? And they want so badly to get you something you actually want. And we say, I don't know, get me nothing. We just do that thing, right? Well, how about some Magic stuff? Some stuff that you know you actually want and that would make them so happy to actually get you something you want. At flipsidegaming.com, you can pre-order Modern Horizons as well as pick up all kinds of supplies. You can get 10% off the purchase with the promo code CGB, and that supports the channel at the same time when you use that code, or when your loved ones use that code. Also at hauntedflower.com /MTG or /Magic, you can find a number of amazing products. Right now we have sleep pants. I've got a pair of each for every single mana color, as well as the Planeswalker symbol, so some great lounge pants. Great stuff to play Magic Arena in on those days where you just don't want to leave the house. Let's see. We've also got mana symbol necklaces to just kind of show your favorite guild. We've got mana symbol mini wallets. Absolutely great for just packing in some credit cards, some cash, and maybe a rare single or two from your collection. And we've got these sweet MTG hats, which I think you've seen me wear on the channel before. All at pretty good prices, ship anywhere in the world. So please, this Father's Day, let the ones who love you get you something you really want. It makes them just as happy as it makes you. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.